Alright, y'all boys, so today we got the legacy and the death of NBA 2K, man. Listen, man, 1999 to 2025, it was a good run for 2K, man, but this is the end of 2K. And yeah, very unfortunate for 2K, man. It is what it is, though, but 2K26 is going to be the last that people really care to buy or play or even think about purchasing. So it's going to be a long video. Make sure you guys drop a like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, the original video will be in the link in the description if you guys want to watch it without me reacting to it or whatever, but we watching it together. So let's get into this one, man.
When you take a look at the overall basketball community, there aren't that many things that we can all agree on. But I do believe that there is one opinion that comes pretty close. The modern NBA 2K games are trash. One opinion that comes pretty close. The modern NBA 2K game.
All terrible. All terrible. 21 was absolutely horrible. Like, really, really horrible. 22, I don't remember that much of it. I think 22 might have been a little bit decent. Still isn't that good. 23 was horrible. 24 was not good. And 25 was absolutely terrible.
Games are
not to mention, these are all next-gen console games, guys. These are all 2Ks on next-generation consoles, and they've all been horrible.
Trash. This is a very common statement to hear throughout the 2K community, but most people rarely explain why 2K has been on a downfall. Most people do agree that modern 2K is trash, but there are lots of different viewpoints and opinions on when the 2K franchise started to get worse. Maybe you thought that 2K18 was the beginning of the end for 2K, once they added the neighborhood. I could see if people thought that 2K13 was a foreshadowing of the issues of 2K today, with the addition of them adding VC. Some people also believe that 2K17 was the first red flag, due to that game having a very buggy.
17 was a red flag because it, like, the gameplay started to get a little bit like, whoa, what's going on here? And then 18, bring up the neighborhood, that was like the nail in the coffin of the beginning of the end for 2K.
Launch. Regardless of what you may think about the 2K series, today I will be breaking down the legacy and the downfall of the NBA 2K franchise. In the year of 1999, there were a total of 8 NBA basketball games that were all in competition with one another. Even though 8 games may seem like a lot of games to go over, you can easily put these 8 games into a few categories
now there's
to
one
distinguish them from one another. The first category are the average and mediocre simulation titles that sometimes have borderline terrible gameplay. Then you have the arcade basketball games like NBA Jam and NBA Showtime, which don't really focus on the simulation aspect of the game, but instead how fun and arcade-like the game is. And then you have NBA Live 2000 alongside NBA 2K, the only 2 basketball games that were in serious contention to be called the king of simulation basketball. When NBA 2K first came out, the only console that you could play the game on at the time was the Dreamcast, and 2K decided that Allen Iverson was going to be on the cover of the game. NBA 2K had—
And to speak real quick about the whole arcade thing, y'all, isn't it crazy how we have like literally one basketball game where any arcade game they make is horrible because it's all underneath 2K's banner, and the simulation game is damn near arcade in a way because we want simulation, but we're getting arcade and unrealistic. So I don't know what the hell's going on anymore.
Relatively positive reviews when it first came out, due to the game having very good graphics during its time. But even though NBA 2K had far superior graphics than NBA Live had way more game modes than 2K and offered a deeper experience. There weren't that many game modes in NBA 2K. The only thing that you could really do is play exhibition mode and create a custom player. But regardless of the game not having that many game modes, NBA 2K was still a very solid start for the franchise. Since 1999, the release of NBA 2K, NBA 2K1 was made in October of 2000. NBA 2K1 was a great improvement over NBA 2K. They added new game modes, such as online play where you can play with 7 different players. NBA 2K1 also added a new game mode where they let you be a GM for an NBA team, and you had full control of the entire franchise for a season. NBA 2K2 was the first basketball game to
So they had AI on all the covers to begin with. They had AI on all them covers.
Released on the PS2 and original Xbox. NBA 2K2 also gave players the ability to play as retro players like Michael Jordan or Magic Johnson. NBA 2K3 didn't add any big game modes, but they did improve the game's franchise and the—
What y'all know about Latrell Sprewell, man? Tell me what y'all know about Latrell Sprewell, man.
Gameplay. NBA 2K4 had something that was very unique from all the other 2K games ever made. Instead of it being called NBA 2K, it was called ESPN Basketball. ESPN Basketball was the first basketball game to fully feature the ESPN license. The biggest addition to ESPN basketball, which in my opinion is one of the greatest 2K game modes of all time, was the 24/7 game mode. In 24/7, you had to build your character from the ground up. You also had the ability.
So this is damn near the park. 24/7 mode back then was damn near the park. That whole setting was like a park just now.
To customize your player from his position to his gear and accessories. The game mode also had a feature where everything was real time. So every hour, there will always be something different going on in the world. The game also lets you travel around the world and play against NBA players and legends in locations like Seattle, Houston, Chicago, California, Maine, and much more. In the following year, ESPN NBA 2K5 was no longer owned by Sega, due to Sega Sports selling visual concepts to Take-Two Interactives. ESPN 2K5's cover athlete was Ben Wallace. This ended the streak of Allen Iverson being on 5 consecutive 2K covers. NBA 2K5 added a feature in franchise mode called Full Authority, where you can coach your players and choose how many shots they take and the locations of the shots. NBA 2K5 also improved on the 24/7 game mode, adding more clothes, accessories, and courts to play on. NBA 2K5 also added a new engine called ISO Motions 2.0 that allowed you to do acrobatic layups. ISO Motions 2.0 also allowed the player to choose which hand he wanted to do a layup with, or if he wanted to change his shot midair. And one thing that made 2K5 even better is that this game was only $20, while NBA Live 05 was full price at $40. However, NBA Live was still the king of basketball games at this time, with NBA Live 05 getting 1.6 million copies sold and 2K5 only getting 1 million copies sold.
Back when 2K had competition, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had competition, man. I don't know what went wrong with EA. I don't know how EA couldn't have continued to expand upon, but this is crazy to see looking back at it now, man. It's wild.
Even though NBA Live was considered the better game during this time, the legendary run that Sega made should not be forgotten. On the date of September 26, 2005, the first NBA 2K game was released for the 6th generation consoles. NBA 2K6 was the first game of the Take-Two era. Unfortunately, NBA 2K6 lost its ESPN license. Shaquille O'Neal was the cover athlete of NBA 2K6. As well as him being the cover athlete, Shaquille O'Neal also helped out the developers with the low post gameplay. Shaquille O'Neal worked with the design teams to help create new animations, providing the motion capture for some of the game's pump fakes, drop steps, and the blocks that players did during the game. NBA 2K6 got positive reviews from critics upon release. The most positive comments were concerning the players' designs, commentary, the gameplay, and the soundtrack, but the negative comments were directed at the controls, the menus, and the lack of drastic improvements. Although NBA 2K6 may not have that many improvements, they did implement something new called the shot stick feature that allowed you to change your shot with the flick of the right stick. NBA 2K6 also implemented the VIP system. The VIP system was a feature that lets you make your own profile that stored your overall stats of the game, but also the key elements of how you actually played the game. Then this VIP profile can be downloaded by others, and then you can assign that player's VIP profile to a computer, and then with that VIP profile, you can basically play a computer version of them. Shaquille O'Neal made his second debut on 2K with the release of NBA 2K7. NBA 2K7 made an interesting addition to the free throw mechanic. The game allowed you to use your controller as a basketball while attempting a free throw. NBA 2K7 was also the first 2K game to give players their own signature styles. NBA 2K7 did an overhaul where they added 300 plus animations for players around the NBA.
That's crazy.
So they can play how they would in real life. This feature of signature styles also lets your player from the 24/7 game mode choose from hundreds of different jump shot animations. 2K7's
so this when the animations start coming through, man.
24/7 game mode was a story-based game mode that was told through a series of cutscenes. You made a creative player that was an up-and-coming baller that was looking to make a name for himself. The final goal for your player in this game mode was to get an invitation to the Legends Charity Tournament. The Legends Charity Tournament was a basketball game featuring NBA All-Stars and was held at real-life location Record Park. To get there, however, you had to make your way through different challenges that were spread across different locations like Texas, Chicago, and Los Angeles. During the player's journey, they will have to play an opponent named Skills, which was the villain of the story. At the end of the story, you win the charity game at Record Park. Then the player would then get called up, making it into the NBA. With Shaq on the last 2 installments of 2K, Chris Paul earned the cover for 2K8. NBA 2K8 was considered disappointing when it first came out. The biggest issue that the majority of people had with 2K8 was that the game felt bland and it felt like a copy and paste of NBA 2K7.
Ooh. Ooh, what did he just say? The game felt bland and it felt like a copy and paste. Water break, y'all. Water break. Oh boy. Woo! And when we talking about 2K7 to 2K8, all the way back then, it was still doing a copy and paste bars.
One thing that I did not like about 2K8 was how they weren't creative with the main menu of the game. The game did have a cool dunk contest though. Even though NBA 2K8 was considered disappointing, NBA 2K9 made a quick bounce back. NBA 2K9 was the first 2K game to outsell NBA Live. After all this time,
and y'all, I'll be honest, right?
2K9 was the first 2K game to outsell NBA Live.
This was the first 2K I can remember vividly playing on the Xbox 360, y'all. So I want to say this is when I made my debut, and the only other 2K I remember seeing was 2K5, but I think that might have been after, because bro, when 2K5 came out, I was 5. You know what I mean? I think I might have seen one of my little cousins have like the game. You know when they get them a little PS2, get them a little 2K game. Yeah, 2K9 and 2K5 are the only 2Ks that I genuinely remember, like early until we get to like 2K10 and up. But 2K9 was the first 2K that I vividly remember like playing for sure. So it's crazy that this was like the start of something, and you know, outselling NBA Live. So crazy.
After all this time, 2K Basketball was finally recognized as the best basketball game in the market. Ever since then, NBA 2K has never looked back and has been outselling NBA Live for the time being.
What the?
NBA Live, on the other hand, was declining slowly while 2K was improving. The 10-year anniversary of the 2K franchise was received very well with the release of 2K10. NBA 2K10 introduced the NBA Today game mode. NBA Today synchronized real-life NBA team schedules and stats in the NBA 2K. This feature allows you to play the game before it happens in real life. NBA Today also affected the commentary team's dialogue. A lot of Pro League stats will also appear as splash graphics or overlays over the game. This made it feel like you were actually watching a real-life game. 2K10 is also the first game to introduce MyPlayer, which quickly became a staple of the 2K series. MyPlayer also allowed you to make your player however you wanted to, and then you had full control over your player's NBA career. You could also use your MyPlayer in an online 5-on-5 game mode called the Crew Mode. NBA 2K10 was a great game, but something devastating happened during the release of the game. In 2009, Mike Wang, which was a former 2K employee, left 2K Sports to join EA to help out the development for NBA Live 10. Mike Wang was the huge reason of NBA Live 10 being successful. Lots of the old NBA Live issues were improved, like the animations and the presentation. NBA Live 10 was a commercial success and brought back the heated rivalry between 2K and NBA Live. 2K Sports was fully aware of NBA Live attempting a comeback.
Let me tell y'all something right now. NBA Live 10 was one of the best basketball games I played, man. I remember being younger, being at my cousin's crib, us playing NBA Live on a big screen TV in the living room, us making our own creative players and putting them on each team. You know, Boston Celtics versus the Lakers at that time. And I remember using, I was a little chubby kid when I was younger, man. So I used to love the Nuggets, all because their name was Denver Nuggets. You know, then it used to be like the Mavericks. I have like vivid memories of NBA Live 10. So it was a really great game, man. I remember that as a child, like playing Live 10, going over to my cousin's house, playing Live 10. Super, super good game. So again, I don't know what the hell happened to Live or what the hell EA has done, but it's really tragic, bro. I'll tell you that much. It's really tragic.
And the way that 2K decided to respond was by making one of the greatest 2K games ever made.
I wonder why. A little bit of comp? 2K? little bit of competition. Now you guys want to actually work. It goes to show how lazy 2K is. And I'll give you guys another example. For an example, WWE 2K20 was such a terrible game that 2K decided to take the year off and make 2K22. And WWE 2K22 is one of the best WWE games they ever released. So I mean, it's very simple with 2K's on. They're very lazy. Unless they got competition. Sad, man. Real life sad work, brother. All right. Of course.
Here we are at the start of 2025, which is 14 years after the release of 2K11. A lot of things have changed over 14 years, but one thing that didn't change is the mass opinion that NBA 2K11 is the best basketball game ever made. NBA 2K11 is the game that completely killed off and ended the chances for NBA Live making any type of comeback.
Damn.
NBA 2K11 is also the first 2K game to add classic teams and players. NBA 2K11 laid down the foundation in the blueprint for the future of the 2K series. This is the same year that EA almost released NBA Elite 11, so the bar really wasn't high for 2K. However, Visual Concepts decided to further innovate the game and completely push the envelope further than it already was. One thing that 2K11 did really well was the implementation of the small features in game modes. Upon entering the main menu of 2K11, you will see a lot of small features in game modes that when you add them up, they truly build onto the main game. The addition of the My Jordan section was one of the features that was very cool for its time. I just love how the shoes were presented on a shoe case.
Hey, they look great.
And how every Jordan had a description of the history of the shoe.
I ain't gonna lie, man. Michael Jordan got the best shoes ever, man. I think that's how some people would be like, oh, he's the greatest player. Yeah, I say he's second behind LeBron. Yeah, I could argue with me if I want. If you're a LeBron fan, shout out to you. But, man, Michael, that's the one thing I get to Michael Jordan, yo. He has one of the best sneakers ever. Like, ever in the history of sneakers, bro. Like, look at all these shoes, bro. The 7s, the 8s, the 9s, the 10s, 11s, the 12s, the 13s, and the 14s. I don't know about the 15s. But even going before that, the 6s, the 5s, the 4s, the 3s, the 2s, the 1s, they're all fire, bro.
Some shoes are locked when you first unlock this feature. So you had to unlock some of the Jordans through different challenges.
Look how fire! Look at the metallic
5s. Different attribute.
The Bread 4s, like, these are all classics. They're all. I would love to get the Raptor 7s one day, but.
And you can put these Jordans on your My Player or any NBA player that's in the game. NBA 2K11 also made a huge jump in the My Career mode. One thing that I enjoyed about 2K11's My Career was the simplicity of the game mode. There was no such thing as VC in 2K11. The game also gave you a lot of drills to help upgrade your player, such as shooting drills, defensive drills, and dribbling drills. You also had to go through different obstacles like the NBA Combine and the Summer League. One thing that people did not know about NBA 2K11 My Career was that if you didn't make the NBA, you would actually get assigned to the D League.
Yep.
This made the game super rewarding when you actually got drafted.
And guys, like, it was very difficult, bro. That's the thing about it. It's not like it was some easy process. It was difficult, and again, yes, it did make it rewarding, and that's way more better and way more realistic. And it adds a level of like urgency to want to play the game because you understand, like, damn, it feels more real. If I play bad, I'm not just gonna get drafted to some random team anyways. I'm actually gonna go to what is now the G League. So why would this feature ever be removed? I like, it blows my mind, but man, I just don't know. I'm almost speechless watching this and like seeing some of this. Like, now I vividly remember these things right here, but some of the other stuff that I'm seeing from 2K, man, that they've done is like, it's stunning, man. It's stunning.
Because there's so many things that you have to avoid and so many obstacles that you have to get by to finally get drafted to the NBA. You could also take your custom player and play a 5-on-5 Pro-Am type game mode called The Crew, just like 2K10. NBA 2K11 arguably also has one of the best soundtracks out of any 2K game ever made. There are so many songs that this game has that have been in my playlist for more than 5 years at least. One thing that 2K11 did that no other 2K has never done better is the intro of the game. The intro consisted of graphics of Michael Jordan doing action shots like dunking or shooting. Then it switched to a cutscene of Michael Jordan running out the tunnel getting ready for Game 1 of the NBA Finals against the Los Angeles Lakers in 1991. After this intro, the game will then lead you to the Jordan challenges, which gave the player the opportunity to recreate 10 of Michael Jordan's best career moments. These challenges also taught newer NBA fans
2K12, he gonna get to it, but 2K12 is kind of, you know what I'm saying?
The history of the NBA. Once you were done with the Jordan challenges, 2K also had a game mode called Create a Legend. Create a Legend was a game mode where you can assign Michael Jordan to a 2010 modern NBA team and try to recreate his career. When you add up the gameplay, the legends, the presentation, and the rest of the game's features, you can easily see why this is one of the best 2K games of all time. This game was a masterpiece, and this game has an overall legendary legacy.
How do we decrease from that?
NBA 2K12 was the first.
How do we go downhill from that, 2K? How?
2K game to have 3 different cover athletes, consisting of Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, and Magic Johnson.
Yes,
NBA 2K12 is a very good game. But I honestly think that the game is very underrated. The reason why NBA 2K12 is an underrated game is that NBA 2K12 released.
They playing basketball. If you know, man, y'all know, like, this is one of the craziest introductions they've ever had on a game. Like, you actually wanted to watch it. Like, whoa, what's going on here? They playing basketball. scam. And I ain't never seen this before. All my squeakers and all my young dudes, y'all need to go watch the intro. And I'm telling y'all, man, 2K used to be an insanely great game, man. I'm telling y'all.
During the NBA lockout. The effect of the NBA lockout made 2K12 not have any rookie players during the game's launch, and many people at this time were uncertain if there would even be an NBA season. You could make a valid argument that 2K12 was a better version of NBA 2K11.
Telling
If you
y'all.
ask me, I think 2K Sports used 2K12 to glorify the classic era of basketball. In last year's 2K, the Michael Jordan challenges was the highlight and the main selling point of the game. But NBA 2K12's game mode, called NBA's Greatest, builds on top of it. This game mode was like Jordan Moments, but instead of only having Michael Jordan, they included 14 other legends that you can do challenges with. These challenges let you play with players like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Julius Erving, John Stockton, and Magic Johnson. One thing that I loved about this game mode was just the gold coloring in the cursive font and how it showed the players playing in real time. When you started one of the challenges, you will notice that they had different broadcast settings, like black and white footage for the time period for the Bill Russell challenge. You can easily tell that 2K Sports put a lot of time and effort into the presentation of 2K12. On top of 2K12 adding 15 different challenges for legends, they also added different presentation settings for those eras. These presentation settings that are prevalent in 2K12 remind me of the My Era setting in today's.
I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I would have to turn this off, man. Like the whole black and white screening, it really just looks like it would hurt my eyes. That's just me personally. I don't know about y'all, but this mode, I'm not gonna lie, from 2K12 guys, I don't remember this mode. I ain't gonna lie. I thought it was like creating a legend was in 2K12, and you could like use like LeBron or Melo or whoever you wanted to use and just do it like that. But I may be getting ahead of myself. That might be 2K14, so we'll see. But yeah.
2K. 2K12 also had a DLC called the Legend Showcase. In my experience,
Is this
it is very rare to hear somebody talk about this game mode. It honestly might be forgotten. The Legend Showcase DLC allowed you to pick from multiple legendary duos. You could pick duos like Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, and even John Stockton and Karl Malone. Once you pick your duo, there were different game modes like Horse and 21. The DLC took place in New York Times Square in front of a crowd. See, this DLC was cool. The only thing that I didn't like about it was the weird art style that they used. 2K12 is also the first game to introduce online association. Me personally, I've never played association mode like that, but I can imagine this being pretty big for people that did. It's still in 2K to this day. 2K12 also made an interesting change with the My Career. Instead of your player going to the Combine and going to the Summer League, you fast track all that and play at the Rookie Showcase instead. If you want my honest opinion, I think the Rookie Showcase doesn't even make sense.
Yeah,
it's not even a real life thing that rookies do in real life.
Never did.
One thing that made this showcase worse is that you didn't even play with real rookies due to the NBA lockout. So instead, you just played with a whole bunch of randomly generated players.
Yeah.
Anyways, once you completed the Rookie Showcase, 2K12 offered more features like pre-draft interviews, mock drafts with scouting reports, and this is also the first 2K where you can give a Hall of Fame speech. Unfortunately, 2K12 removed crew mode for some reason. I understand that the crew mode had issues like hackers, but they still should have kept it in the game. 2K12 made a huge improvement to the creative.
So they've been hacking, y'all. Like I mean, obviously, but just pointing it out. This ain't nothing new, man. When they start glitching, and people are always gonna do this with video games. This is always gonna be a thing.
Legend mode. In 2K11, you can only be Michael Jordan, but in 2K12, they made it able where you could be any NBA player that you wanted to. One thing that you could do in 2K12's Create a Legend mode was the ability to use your money from your contract to do different activities. You could buy signature moves, donate to charity to gain fans, or even host team dinners to improve your team's chemistry. The game also gave you access to different brands of shoes that you can equip to your player. It's kind of like the My Jordans feature, but for every shoe brand. Another thing that was dope about 2K12 was that they had an interactive training camp where different legends and players taught you the controls of the game. All of the legends had different dialogue lines, and it made getting better at the game less boring and kind of interesting. This honestly just shows me how much time and effort the old 2K developers put into the 2Ks back in the day. 2K13
y'all. This is where we get the introduction of Virtual Concepts on VC. Oh boy. Let the sweating begin. The sweat era begins.
It's a very fun game, but has a lot of flaws. In no way do I ever expect 2K to be completely flawless. Games can be hard to make, and they will always have glitches. But seriously though, some of the issues that this game has were just caused by total laziness. But before I get into the negatives, let me get into the positives first. The intro for 2K13 is one of the best 2K intros of all time.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
Alright, the way that they integrated Jay-Z's song with the intro was super well thought and put together. 2K13 also added a new control stick feature where the shot stick was officially part of the dribbling mechanics. This was a significant change for the 2K franchise. 2K13 also added the Dream Team and the Redeem Team to the game. The game also made improvements to My Career, like giving the player the ability to go #1 in the draft. They also added GM meetings in My Career, where your player can make demands about the team and demands about his future in the NBA. 2K13 was also the game that introduced badges, which was called signature skills back in the day. And that's pretty much the only positive things about 2K13. Now it's time to talk about the negative things 2K13 did. One of the biggest issues of 2K13 was the cherry picking exploit. For anybody who played 2K13 knew that this game had a serious cherry picking exploit. It was so bad that there were tutorials on YouTube teaching other players how to use this cherry picking.
And what's funny about this, guys, what do you guys, here's how you know 2K continues to like mold and recycle and keep the same gameplay. Guys, this happens in rec all the time. People are able to just like cherry pick for the most part. It's like there's a weird mechanic in a game that allows the defensive player to like literally just get a boost to get back on offense, you know, after a miss. It's crazy, but it's still there. Notice, guys, as we keep going on these gameplays, and notice how there's going to be things that continue to overlap and carry on over, because 2K's doing a yearly release. They don't have competition, and they're just going to keep copying and pasting the same game, and whatever they have to make adjustments on, they will. But for the most part, it's a copy and paste, and we're only at 2K13.
Exploit. This glitch almost single-handedly destroyed 2K13 online. Another issue with 2K13 were the dunks. If you played someone online that was using Russell Westbrook or LeBron James, it was almost impossible
or
to
Gerald Green.
Dunking. For some reason, 2K13 made dunking unstoppable because you couldn't block dunks. This was a literal nightmare when your opponent was cherry picking and abusing dunks at the same time. This exploit completely destroyed the strategy of playing basketball fundamentally in 2K13. It was rare to see somebody play the game realistically because 2K made it so easy to simply throw the ball for court and cherry pick. It was also way too easy to shoot 3-pointers on 2K13. On top of that, this game has the worst.
So we're still dealing with this. This was still going on, guys. And at this time, guys, I'm 12, 13 years old. I'm playing 2K. I'm playing My Player. I'm just a kid, so I'm not really understanding what's going on. Realistically speaking, guys, that's all we used to play when we were younger. We would play Play Now and My Career. There was nothing else to really do. So at this point, we're not realizing, oh my God, this game's broken. We're just playing the game and happy to have the game. That's it. So, but the same shot contest problems are still. This was going on 12 years ago. Like, we're over a decade later, the same stuff. Oh God.
AI out of any 2K ever. 2K13's computer on Hall of Fame would shoot 60% from the field no matter how much you contest a shot. And on top of all these issues, 2K13 is the first 2K that added VC, which is the #1 reason why current 2K is trash. With 2K13 adding VC, you could also use VC to buy clothes for your My Player for the online 3-on-3 blacktop mode. This mode was super fun back in the day, especially when you played it with friends. 2K13 is also the first 2K that introduced the My Team mode, which is one of the main game modes in 2K today. One thing that I noticed about 2K13 is that this is the game where they stopped putting real effort in the blacktop mode. I still don't understand how the vast amount of courts and game modes in the older 2K blacktops turned into a game of 21 that varied from 1-on-1 to 5-on-5. In 2K13, the game gave you an all-star event game mode behind the paywall of a pre-order. With this pre-order, you got a bundle of a pair of headphones, a basketball, and a basketball-themed controller skin. This all-star game mode had the dunk contest that turned the game into some dumbass Guitar Hero minigame. I thought it was so stupid that they had a game mode like the all-star events behind a fucking paywall. Anyways, the last thing that I'm going to mention about this game is the soundtrack, which was amazing in this game.
Yeah, it was.
He did a hell of a job with the music selection for this game. NBA 2K14 is the first 2K game.
Oh, let's just have a moment and laugh like about 2K13. Like, what the yo, bruh. I gotta crash. I wanna. but I can't.
To be released for the PS4 and Xbox One, 2K14 was made 12 years ago, on the date of October 1st, 2013. And since the time that this game has came out, I still don't understand why 2K has changed the graphics from 2K14's. The reason why 2K14 looks better than the newer 2K titles was because of 2K14's unique lighting. If you look at the same exact things in the newer 2K games, like the shot clock. I'm gonna turn up. Oh my god, yo. Like, I got so much like built up frustration and stress and anger. It makes me want to turn up. Something so simple. Why 2K? Do people gotta start? Ooh, all right. Let me just keep this. Like the referees, like the cameramen, you will notice that they use the same exact models and objects. The only difference was how 2K14 had a unique lighting, especially when you compared it to 2K13 on the PS3. 2K14 made a huge improvement about the way the players looked during the game. 2K14 made a huge overhaul on the 2K13 player models and faces. You could argue that the 2K14 players looked almost photorealistic for the time being. 2K14 also changed how the hoop looked during the game. They got the small details like the camera behind the backboard and the wire connecting to the cameras. They even showed the lights that make up the buzzer behind the backboard. Same for the shot clock also. The way that the lights shined in this game were absolutely amazing. And when compared to 2K13's hoop, 2K14 completely blows 2K13 out the water, as it should. One thing that 2K14 also did was improve the way that the basketball looks. 2K14's basketball looks more authentic than 2K13's, making it more brown than orange like 2K13's basketball. And it really makes a player that's playing the game really feel immersed in the game that they're playing. 2K14 is also the first game to introduce real cutscenes in the story for my career. Throughout your player's story, you have a rival named Jackson Ellis, and you and him both compete for the #1 spot in the NBA. The game also gave you multiple dialogue choices that let you shape up your player's personality.
So I'll be honest about this, y'all. Your boy had 2K14 on the PS3. You know what I'm saying? We ain't get the PS4 just yet. You know what I'm saying? So we had to wait a little bit. We end up not getting 2K14 on the PS4 at all. So I did miss out on all of this. I briefly was able to see a little bit of it, play a little bit of it, because, you know, I had family members that had it and a friend that had it. But outside of that, I never got to play 2K14's in my career. So I pretty much missed out on this and something he's eventually going to bring up right now.
While interacting with the coach, the GM, Jackson Ellis, and your teammates. 2K14's My Career paved the way for the future My Careers in the later 2Ks because they all have had stories since 2K14. Another key addition that 2K14 introduced was the park game mode. For the first time ever, you could walk around the park and play games of 2-on-2 or 3-on-3. Although 2K14's park had a lot of issues and wasn't perfect, it was still super fun to play and is the most popular game mode in today's 2K. Another feature.
Listen, it was an introduction to something new. This could be the start. Something new, bruh. Feels so right. Let's take a hair break. Oh, and now I'm looking in your heart. Listen, man, it was the start of something new, y'all. It was the start of something new. You know?
That 2K14 added was the My GM mode. One thing that I didn't understand about My GM mode is that they replaced My GM mode with just normal association mode. Basically in My GM mode, your My player became a GM for the team of your choosing. The game gave you different ratings for the team owners to show off their personality, their strengths, and their weaknesses. Every season that you started as the GM, the owner of the team would give you goals for the season that you had to complete, or else you would be in risk of getting fired. As the GM of the team, you were allowed to use the team's money into certain aspects of the franchise, like the player's payroll, the team operations, and the arena operations. You also had access to different upgrade trees for categories like scouting, training, and salary negotiations. One thing that was interesting about 2K14 on the PS3 is that they added a mode called LeBron Path to Greatness, which I don't know why they didn't add to the PS4 version of 2K14. LeBron Path to Greatness was actually pretty fun, but I don't hear that many people talk about it though. 2K14 also added the crew mode back, but it was watered down, and instead of you having custom jerseys and teams and arenas, you just played 5-on-5 on the blacktop to 21. When I played 2K15 for the first time, I was disappointed about the graphical downgrade like I mentioned earlier, but I do understand that graphics aren't everything, and it didn't change the fact that 2K15 is a very solid game in the 2K franchise.
100%.
2K15 made a huge improvement with a much more creative main menu. 2K14's main menu was very bland, but 2K15 completely fixed that. 2K15 had a 3D user interface if you moved around the right stick of your controller. When 2K15 servers were still on, the big TV screen would play episodes of 2K TV. This was convenient for people who wanted to watch the show or just watch.
And this is when we used to actually sit there and watch 2K TV. Like, we actually sat there and watched it. Like, shout out to Rachel Demita. Obviously, we all know she looked good, but some really, really great memories, man, with her being on 2K TV talking. You know, it was good, man. That's when it used to actually matter back then, you know?
Rachel, but you know, that's for a different topic. Anyways, when you started a game of Play Now, you would get a cool pregame show with Ernie and Shaq that was actually pretty entertaining, and it was a smart way to make the loading screen feel faster. 2K15 added 500 new animations for the gameplay, which made it feel smoother. 2K also made some additions and improvements to the My Career game mode. This is the first game to introduce the face scan feature. I'm not gonna act like it was good because it was known more as a way to make jokes. Most of the time you would have people coming out with glitched faces and faces that don't even look like the person in real life. 2K15 also built on the park game mode.
Guys, we gotta clap it up. We talking about the legacy as well, guys. Not just the death of 2K, but the legacy, man. And this was, hey, we gotta clap it up for them, man. This was brilliant. Brilliant, man. This was great, man. Miss it just being this right here, man. I really miss this right here. I miss it so much, man. And I know you guys do too, man. We just miss it, bro. It's sad.
By adding 3 different affiliations called Sunset Beach, Old Town Flyers, and the Rivet City Riders. Every affiliation gave you different attribute upgrades, like Sunset Beach giving you a boost to shooting, Old Town giving you a boost to dribbling, and Rivet City giving you a dunking boost. Along with these boosts, your affiliation also had its own special park. 2K15 also introduced the Jordan Rec, where you could play a fully 5-on-5 online NBA style game with your friends or against other people.
And we used to actually be waiting, y'all. We used to run around with 5 people, go in there, man, and we used to real life wait for a game, bro. You know, obviously there was ways to improve on it in the future, but at the time, man, it was man, like, what a time that was, man. What a time.
And finally, they also added the stage. Where you could play games where you put VC
High Rollers too.
It was basically gambling with VC.
High Rollers too. But no, 2K wants to take away High Rollers because they knew people was getting right off that. Because you could make an investment. You could buy $1 million VC. Then you could go to the High Rollers, and if you was good enough at the game, you was gonna make way more than that, so you wouldn't have to buy VC again. So that's the only reason 2K even got rid of High Rollers, bro. Yeah, they might have a few games in the stage now that you can win 5K. No, we were talking about High Rollers like 25K for one game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
official story for My Career was different this year. Your player went undrafted, and he had to get into the NBA by proving himself with a 10-day contract. Whatever team that you landed on, you had a mentor that attempted to help you guide your way throughout the NBA. I do have to say though, this game has some of the worst voice acting of all time. 2K15 also introduced the badge system, where there were 3 different tiers of badges. The 3 tiers of badges were called Bronze, Silver, and Gold. 2K15 also brought back the Association mode, alongside the GM mode that was introduced in 2K14. 2K15 also made a lot of changes to my team, like the addition of the real-time auction house. This has been a big feature. And
this is when, guys, I know my team made his debut in 2K13, but 2K15 is when I made my debut on my team. And I was like, I really want to say I was starstruck, bro. I was like, what is this mode and why do I love this mode so much? You know what I'm saying? I didn't get to play it heavily because obviously I was so deep into the park and all that other stuff. But when I played my team, I got into it. I was like, oh, this mode got a lot of potential. So, hey, man, I would say this was where my team was born, like where it really burst onto the scene. 2K15 was like the early parts of it, and then 16 really set it off. But 15 was definitely like the beginning of like something like crazy, like, whoa, like this is a great mode.
In my team once it was added. New legends were also added into my team this year, with a new game mode called Challenges mode that lets you play fantasy basketball games. The last big feature 2K15 added was the 2K TV show. The show host was Rachel Demita, and that was a great way to get viewers.
Medalla, the mark of a fighter.
Too bad she ended up getting fired though.
Wow.
NBA 2K16 is 10 years old, and you can honestly say that this is the best 2K in the last decade. We all know that the 2K games of 16 have gotten worse throughout the time. with issues like forcing the player to buy VC to play certain game modes, and just the overall downgrade in quality. In my opinion, I honestly believe that 2K16 was the last great 2K game made. From year 2010 to 2015, 2K Sports released their best games in the 2K series.
How like 2K, how are these y'all best games, bruh? Y'all have a whole new console. Y'all have PS5s and Xbox Series X's. How the hell were these the last good games y'all made? I'm not gonna lie, he's gonna mention 17, but I would still put 17 in there as well. Even though 17 started to have some like, whoa, this is getting crazy. I still go put 17 in there because that was the last game that had parks in it. So it holds some kind of like value to it, to me personally, you know? So let's, what the?
2K16 using real player models for the intro. They went with a cartoon style approach. 2K16 had the best My Career story, the best version of My Park, an incredibly deep franchise mode, and My Team was still a very solid game mode. The gameplay, the graphics, and the presentation were all elite for its time. The first game mode that I'm going to cover is My Career, which was ran by Spike Lee. NBA 2K16 has the best My Career story out of any 2K game that's been made. Basically, your character's nickname was called Freak, and you lived in Harlem with your parents, your sister, and your friend Vic. You first begin your career in high school and play 3 games ending off with the high school state championship. As you play throughout high school, you get 9 different scholarship offers from universities. This was a very big addition when it first came out, because the last time you seen college teams was in College Hoops 2K8. Once you chose your college, you played 4 real college games, and then you got drafted to the NBA. Once you get drafted, you're constantly told that Vic is a bad influence on you by your peers. And then your My Player gets informed that Vic has been a part of some nightclub fights. This then leads to a cutscene where Freak and Vic argue in a car. And it gets revealed that when you guys were in high school, a person named Dirt Bike Donnie tried to rob Freak, and Freak pushed him down the stairs. This caused Dirt Bike Donnie to hit his head on the ground and die, and Vic was the one to cover up for you. After your rookie year, you pick your team for the next season in free agency. Then out of nowhere,
and we're going to talk about this too, because this whole story had some very sick things to it, as you just heard just now. But there's a video I'm going to react to about it as well, guys, with 2K16. I was stunned to see it. I was like sitting there like in shock. I definitely got to react to it. You know, watch it with y'all so we can really see what the hell is going on with this story, because there's some really dark things going on with this story for sure.
Where a cop calls Freak and informs him that Vic Van Leer died in a car crash. After all that, the ghost of Vic Van Leer appears, and he sits on the bench and reads an extremely long note directly to the audience about his greatest thing being you, and how he was in love with your mother, and how he tried to get with your girlfriend at some point. He also mentioned that he likes CC for some reason. Then he fades away, and your second NBA season starts.
What the hell?
One thing that I didn't like about 2K16's story is that you couldn't make different choices to change the outcome of the story. One other thing that I didn't understand is that your player was supposed to be like the next LeBron when it came to your talent. But when I get drafted as a lottery pick, I start off at a 55 overall, which is down near the worst overall in the NBA. Once you were done with your player's My Career, you could begin to play the heavily improved park game mode that added different looks for all 3 affiliation parks. The 3 new affiliation parks that 2K16 made looked very nice. 2K16 also added a new feature called the My Court. In your player's My Court, you were given different options by 2K to customize your My Court. You were allowed to buy different walls and basketball floors to customize your court. And then you can invite your friends over to play games.
Look at this.
The My Court was also used to display your accolades and
beautiful
your shoe collection.
Beautiful. Where did this go? Where did this go? Why is this not in the game anymore, 2K? Why do y'all take out stuff like this that makes sense to keep in the game and improve upon? Why the hell would y'all get rid of stuff like this?
You had access to endorsements, and you can make connections with different NBA players to earn certain rewards. 2K16 also added a bunch of new clothes and accessories that your My Player could wear. Till this day, I still remember when 2K16 had that clothes collab with Marvel. You also had the freedom to put tons of tattoos in your My Player, and you can exactly put the tattoo wherever you wanted to. 2K16 also added a new Pro-Am game mode, where you can make your own team and customize it however you want and play other Pro-Am teams online. The other game modes in 2K16 were great also. 2K16's menu was similar to 2K15's menu, with the same looking Jumbotron in the background. The big difference between both of these games though, was when you picked a different game mode in 2K16, you would then see a cutscene of a 3D player doing an action shot like dribbling the ball or shooting the ball while moving to a different part of the arena. 2K16 added on the pregame show, adding Kenny the Jet Smith since his 2K7 stamp of approval halftime show. The longer that you watch the pregame show, you will see graphics of NBA players showing their stats. The gameplay of 2K16 was greatly improved on with the introduction of the living world. This made the computer know how to adjust to how you were playing. If you kept running the same exact play or had the same playstyle every game, the computer would defend you differently, making you change your playstyle. 2K16 also introduced the left trigger being the post-up button and the addition of different pass controls. 2K16 also revamped the Play Now Online mode, adding 3 different ranking tiers for certain teams. These tiers were made to try to limit the amount of times you ran into the same team, like the Warriors or the Cavaliers. My team in 2K16 was also very good.
Woo!
They added a 3-on-3 mode, which would later become triple threat down the road.
Yep.
All of these additions made 2K16 a very deep experience. There were so many things to do in 2K16 that it was borderline crazy. And finally, the last thing that this game did good was the soundtrack. This game has a legendary soundtrack.
The best.
And 2K16 honestly has an unmatched vibe while you're just sitting in the main menu, listening to some of the songs the game had.
Telling y'all, man, this was it. Why, bro? What happened, 2K? Now we turn it off. I ain't gonna lie, 2K17 has some pretty good songs on there as well, but 2K16 is the GOAT for me, to me.
Before I even begin on 2K17, I just want to say that nostalgia has made this game seem way better than it actually was. I can easily say this with confidence, that NBA 2K17 was a very overrated game. 2K17 is the first game that was the beginning of the downfall for 2K.
Oh, Lord.
Not all of these games are bad.
Oh, God. Oh, Lord. What have we been purchasing? What is this? What? Look at this hot trash. I'm telling you, I'd rather put 17 with the other 2Ks. Again, the gameplay was it was starting to get a little bit odd for sure. I definitely was starting to be like, what the hell is going on in 2K17? But again, it was a lot. I know, nostalgia, like he just said and I said earlier, it's a little bit of nostalgia in the fact that this was the last 2K that had parts. 18 was all time. We're going to get into the rest of them, but my God.
But they're definitely nowhere near what we had from 2010 to 2015. Man, first of all, this game would take you about 10 to 20 minutes to even start and get into the game because of the stupid ass loading screen that 2K never even cared to patch. This was literally a issue day 1 of the game and the last day of the servers being on for this game. And when you actually got into the menu of the game, you can easily notice that the complete downgrade that the main menu had. It makes no sense to me how we went from this cool ass menu that 2K16 had to this boring ass black and white yin yang ass menu, man. What's the point of going all out on a menu for one game just to completely disregard it in the next 2K? And the gameplay isn't any better. 2K17 has some of the dumbest AI that I've ever seen in any 2K game made. 2K17 literally had an issue where every time you cross the half-court line, the ball handler gets double-teamed every single time, which leads to your teammate being wide open every single time. This game had so many issues that if I explained all of them, it would take about 5 minutes alone on that part. And the other thing about these issues, these aren't even like the common issues that every 2K game has. These issues that 2K17 had were brand new and came out of absolutely nowhere. And don't get me started on this fucking My Career, bro. This game's My Career is so cringy, it almost hurts me to make a video on this part. How much of a cornball do you have to be to sit in a room and think to yourself, oh yeah guys, we should make a story where you and Michael B. Jordan make a dynamic duo called Orange Juice, and your main player should be called the President of Basketball. Yeah, the 2K community will love this. Whoever made this story, bro, I hope they got fired. Because who thinks to themselves that a story like 2K17's was a good idea in any way? And on top of all these other issues, 2K17 also copy and pasted the parts from 2K16. The only difference being that they made it nighttime. And this leads to another issue that the game had. This game's servers at launch were terrible, and that just ruined more events like when Park After Dark came out. Park After Dark was damn near unplayable to play.
Bro, Park After Dark was such a huge event. I can never forget this, man. This was around like November, I want to say, of that 2K release year. And it was such a we couldn't wait for that event. They had like Snoop Dogg, they were saying it was going to be there DJing, and whoever else was there, like maybe DJ KHALIL, a few people that were like real life celebrities that was going to be in the game DJing. And yeah, it completely went wrong. Like, this completely went super wrong, man. It's just super wrong.
did some other stupid changes to the park by making the stage a limited time game mode instead of 24/7 like the old 2Ks, or how the shooting attributes did not even matter on this game. You would literally see rim protectors and glass cleaners with 50 overall 3-pointers grading consistently. They also made stupid changes like they made the 2v2 core losers ball for half of the year, and they also made the rival day on 2K17 have no rewards when you win, or not like 2K16's at least. If you won Rivals Day on 2K16, you literally got a brand new park. On 2K17, I can't even remember what you got for winning. Do you guys remember that stupid inbound cheese that everybody used to do, where you would shift back and forth with no momentum loss at all? And this game at launch had so many bugs and glitches, bro. This game had like 20 patches overall. Another thing that 2K17 did is that they killed off the blacktop mode even more. Instead of just keeping their normal uniforms like back in the day, they just give them a pair of black and white shorts and shorts, and they just have ringers and ballers on them. But you know what? 2K17 did do some good things though. 2K17 was the first 2K game to let you make your own custom jump shot. They also added on to the My Court feature where you can have different houses. I believe they gave you an option to have a house in the woods or a high-rise building. 2K17 also added Hall of Fame badges, and they also added a brand new Grand badge, which is basically TakeOver now. NBA 2K17 is also...
I'm telling y'all boys right now, the Grand badge was something to smile about and be proud of yourself about, y'all. When you got the Hall of Fame badge, man, it was a grind. It was fun to do in my career, but when you got that badge, bro, it was like you felt like you won $1 million, bro. Especially when you got the Grand badge, you felt like you was him. Anybody that played this game know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So the first game to let you put archetypes on your mind players, but things really got bad when 2K18 came out. 2K18 is one of the most greedy video games I've ever seen made. I swear, bro, this game gave you two choices to make. One choice is to buy hundreds of dollars worth of VC or play the game for at least 200 hours to barely be at 85 overall. This game literally made you pay VC to get haircuts, and you couldn't even get...
And guys, let me tell you something about 2K18, guys. 2K18, the ending of 17 is when I started my YouTube channel, but 2K18 is where I was my first start to the beginning of a 2K cycle on YouTube, and I got all the way to the highest rep. I got the 99 overall, which is considered legend. So everything I know everything about this game, man. And yeah, I had great memories on it because of the grind that I had starting doing YouTube and stuff like that. But this is definitely, to me, the worst 2K of all time, for sure. This and 2K25 is tied, for sure.
The preview to see what the haircut looks like. Who does that? 2K has built a reputation of being a money-hungry company that doesn't care about their consumers, and rightfully so. This reputation is rooted from the dumpster fire of 2K18. This is one of the worst sports games ever made. The gameplay of 2K18 has so many issues, like the constant amount of missed open layups. 2K18 was also a game that was riddled and full of canned animations like the blow-by and snatchback cheese. If you had the ball and you ran at the person that was guarding you, 9 times out of 10 you would get a blow-by animation.
Snatchbacks and blow-bys.
Easy wide open layup or dunk every single time. 2K18 also made it
snatchbacks and blow-bys
snatchback animation, which also led to wide open jump shots. And this game's My Career mode was so annoying this year because B Fresh was always yelling and hollering about some of the most random things ever, and you couldn't even skip the cutscenes. So 2K18 pretty much forced the player to watch this entire story. You even got cutscenes when you try to go into your My Court, and sometimes the cutscenes will almost be a minute. And this is the 2K that added the neighborhood. The neighborhood was terrible. For some reason, 2K18 chose to take away the affiliations from 2K16 and added this huge dry ass neighborhood that people weren't even playing like that after a few months of the game even being out. They also removed rep and replaced it with this overall system, which is also stupid. This game was so bad that 2K made a public survey to see why people stopped playing the game. 2K18 is the game that made people play Fortnite instead of putting up with the dumpster fire that 2K18 made.
And this and Fortnite came out at the right time as well, guys. Like, y'all can look at my channel and y'all can see what he's saying is true, because if you guys go look at back at my videos from 2018, 2017, around that area, I actually stopped uploading 2K, man. I started uploading Fortnite because 2K was so unplayable, and it forced me to play My Career, because if you even wanted to get the top rep for Park, you got way more points playing My Career than you got even playing the damn Park. So literally, all you could do all day was play Park, or not Park, the neighborhood it would have been, but all you could do is play My Career, get as many points as you could. When you got bored, then you had no choice but to get off and then go play Fortnite. You didn't want to play the neighborhood. It was too terrible, too glitchy, too bad. Snatchbacks and blow-bys. It made no sense. It was horrible. It was trash.
that year.
I'm here with the homie Gilbert Burns, 7-time national champion of Brazil, 3-time world champion, hero of...
NBA 2K19 was a big improvement from 2K18 and fixed the biggest issues with snatchback and blow-bys, but also introduced other issues with the game. 2K19 had issues like the base 11 jump shot being completely broken. Another issue with this game was how overpowered takeover was, like post-scoring takeover, where your player would get an animation where he commits an offensive foul, but the refs would never call it. Self-lobs on this game are also impossible to stop. For some reason on this game, when you threw yourself a self-lob, the person guarding you couldn't really do anything to get you outside the self-lob animation. So it was basically inevitable that you were about to get a free 2 points. This game also had a weird tendency where this game would call moving screens on players that were standing completely still, and the worst edition, pushing. Why do they even think to have something like this inside of a simulation basketball?
Why? Not to mention the inbounds glitch from the 2v2. Not to mention anybody could shoot with any kind of build. The pure lockdowns that had 53-point ratings making everything. The base 11 jump shot with every stretch four making every single 3-point attempt that they take. 2K19 was absolutely terrible. It was horrible.
But 2K19 did do some good things, like the complete overhaul of the main menu, where it looked like you were in a high-rise building in the city that went to different parts of the building depending on what game mode you chose. The pre-game show was also improved by putting the crew in the arena of the home team. The My Career game mode was also highly improved, just off the removal of Be Fresh alone. The story of 2K19 had your character start off in China, and then he made his way throughout the G League, and eventually made it into the NBA. It was also great that you could skip the cutscenes unlike 2K18. 2K19 also added more ways to improve your players' badges, like drills, and gave you more ways to make a VC like endorsements and daily challenges. And even though I said that the takeovers are broken, I still do think that they were a good addition made to the game. It was cool that you had different takeovers for whatever build you had, and if you had a build that had 2 archetypes, when you reached 94 overall, you could get double takeover that affected 2 aspects of your player's playstyle. They also completely revamped the neighborhood by remaking the layout by making the courts all in the middle and everything else like the stores and the rec center around the courts. 2K19 also introduced a ton of parking.
So 2K19 was, you know, it was whatever for the neighborhood here for 19 and 20 because, yeah, everything was right there. The parks were in the middle. Everything was on the side. But again, we still didn't get the affiliation that we fell in love with. We hated, I mean, it's pretty simple, man. It's like beating a dead horse. Like, bruh, we don't care for this neighborhood city style. Up to this point, neighborhood style. Although it was convenient, we still hate it. So it's like, I just don't get it, man. I just don't.
Events like Ruffles, Court Conqueror, Top Dog, and Gold Rush. But 2K19 also added the cages, which was like Slam Ball if you know what I'm talking about. 2K19 was a fun game at times, and was a big improvement from 2K18, but it was flawed and was far from perfect. I know that a lot of people may not agree with this opinion, but I don't care. In my opinion, 2K20 is one of the most overrated 2K games.
Oh yes, thank you. Yes, I agree with this all the way. And the only reason why people even cared for this game this deeply was because we all had to sit in the crib and play it all day because we were all trapped in the house because of the pandemic. That simple. Yeah, the game was cool because you could make a lot of different builds, but the gameplay was crazy. Hop stepping through, you know, yeah, it was not great. The shooting was just weird. You could make slightly earlies. You didn't have to green. You could just make any type of shot you wanted. Yeah, the game wasn't, I'm not saying it was absolutely horrible, but it definitely was not this game that people make it seem like it was. It really wasn't.
And first of all, this man Ronnie 2K claimed that 2K20 was going to have a brand new park from 2K19, but it turned out that 2K20's park was the exact same
thing
from every single little detail.
Copy
what
and
else did
paste.
2K20 do stupid? Oh yeah, they had a badge called Quick Draw that was mandatory for you to have a quick jump shot. Also, the Intimidator badge was hella dumb and unbelievably broken. This badge on Hall of Fame will make slashers miss wide open layups and easy dunks just because you're in the vicinity. And on top of all that, they had a park badge called Nothing Easy that would make you throw people on the ground and bail them out when you're trying to play real genuine defense on them. Why would you put that in the game? The takeovers on 2K20 were also heavily nerfed to the point where they barely even had an impact on your player. The only takeover that was somewhat decent was Slashing Takeover. And speaking of slashing on 2K20 took zero skill and was broken due solely because of the hop step
Yep.
cheese. The hop
What did I
step
say, y'all? Hop stepping. Hop stepping.
was so broken this year. Even if you were a pure lockdown and jumped the second that the dude doing that hop step would go up for a layup, 9 times out of 10, he would just push you out the way and make the layup every single time.
Yo.
Dribbling and defense was also a downgrade on this game because everything felt so robotic and slidey. They also claimed that in 2K20 you'd be able to reset your builds and reset points, but that was nowhere to be seen when the game actually came out also.
Pure
post hooks
cap.
were super overpowered this year. You would literally consistently make heavily contested post hooks easily. This game also had an issue where sometimes your rep rewards would just freeze, or you would hit legend off of one game sometimes. And this is the year where my team really became a pay-to-win simulator, bro. Like, this shit was just a walking casino, bro. This was actually ridiculous. Even though I think 2K20 wasn't a good game, they did do some good things though. For example, 2K20 had a very good build system that allowed you to make some very unique and interesting builds. I also like that they returned the rep system back on this game, and the rewards were actually solid, like the return of custom t-shirts. 2K20 also made good changes to the My GM mode overall. They added quality of life changes like the ability to manage more things and have more decisions. They also changed around the skill tree to really shape up your style of managing. But 2K20 did an overall revamp of the My GM mode. They even added a leaderboard to see how you're doing compared to other players across the world. But if I'm being honest, I think 2K20 was not a good game and got carried by COVID. When 2K21 came out, this is when things seriously began to go downhill for 2K. 2K21 is an embarrassment of a basketball game. This game had broken ass exploits like the speed.
Both current gen and next gen, especially next gen as well. What the heck? It was horrible. That's all I can say right now.
Glitch that was never patched, by the way. And 2K21 was the game that began the left-right no-skill dribble cheese with point guards, or the Curry slide. All of these exploits made defense in this game non-existent, on top of all the dunks and fadeaways being broken. Like, you could literally play perfect defense on somebody and still end up getting scored on because they get a stupid-ass contact dunk animation. And what were they thinking with that god-awful shot meter, bro? Like, seriously, who came up with this? I'm not sure if anybody remembers this, but 2K21 was the game that introduced cheating in Zens and Cronus users, all that bullshit. 2K21 current gen was basically 2K20 but worse. Everything from those two games were the same, besides the park. That's it. 2K21 on next gen was really dog shit though. And you can have a valid argument that
snatchbacks, half-court shots, contact dunks. This 2K21 was definitely one of the worst. I probably would put it in the top 3, yo. I ain't gonna lie. 2K21 was really terrible. Like, it didn't make no sense how terrible it was.
2K21 Next Gen was worse than 2K18. Let's see, bro, the biggest issue of 2K21 Next Gen were the terrible servers and the lag. This game was so full of lag outs and error codes. Damn near every time that you would be winning a game online, you would lag out of nowhere and get a loss in your record and 0 rep from that game. And before you even got into the city, this game made you play these stupid Rookieville games, and once you finished them, you were then thrown into this big ass city that took way too long to get around the map. And for some reason, 2K thought it was a good idea to have no type of fast travel in this game. You did more walking in this game than playing basketball. The only good things that I can think about this game off the top of my head was that there were 4 different park affiliations.
That's
and
cool.
The custom shoes that you made were completely free. But
see, I forgot. That game was so bad. I forgot that they had 4 different park affiliations. I forgot about that. And 2K would use that kind of situation and say, well, we tried the park and it didn't work. Shut up. Y'all didn't try nothing. The game was too terrible and nobody wanted to play it. If y'all just had 4 separate parks, the game would be super lit. Not this big city that we all hate.
Besides that, this game was garbage, bro. One of the worst 2Ks made. Hands down. 2K22 was an improvement from 2K21, but it still wasn't that good of a game. The biggest issues of 2K22 was that this was the peak of the left-right cheese on a 5'9" point guard, and the paint defense on this game was horrendous. 2K22 in my opinion had 0 skill gap because this game had so many overpowered badges like Deadeye and Blinders, which let players green smother jump shots consistently. On top of all this, they had a badge called Limitless Takeoff that would let everybody do Michael Jordan free throw line dunks with barely any type of risk.
Horrible. Limitless Takeoff. I think it might have been in 2K23 as well. I think, yeah, it was definitely in 2K23 as well, but this was absolutely a horrible, man. One of the dumbest badges of all time.
of getting blocked. And if you played 2K22, then I'm more than positive that you're aware of how overpowered the Quick Drops dunk package was. This dunk was pretty much impossible.
Unblockable.
And the worst thing is that the dunk requirement to get this animation was like a low 80. And this game would let you make so many whites with the sniper badge. This allowed you to consistently make slightly lates and earlies. But 2K22, in my opinion, promoted bad shot selection because they gave the offensive players so many overpowered badges on offense, but barely anything for the defensive side of the ball. Bron's chase down artist on this game was so stupid and broken. You could really be a 6'1" play shot and chase down layups and dunks like prime LeBron James. It made no sense at all. And the thing that was even more dumb about this is that it didn't even need to be high. You could chase down slashers with Bron chase down artist. 2K22 was also boring in my opinion. I honestly felt like the rep being tied into the seasons were stupid, but I guess the rewards are cool except for the last season, which was just a copy and paste of all of the previous season rewards. And the legend reward, which was a parrot. Why would they think a parrot would be a good legend reward? 2K23 was also a trash game that had so many gameplay flaws. It was so easy to steal the ball on 2K23. You didn't even need a high steal rating to get consistent steals on this game, and your ball handle stat had no impact.
2K19 had this issue as well. Something I just remembered. 2K19 had an issue where you could just run up on people and just take the ball. It was really horrible.
Or didn't do anything when it came to you getting the ball stolen. The shot contest was just as broken as 2K22. You would either see players making heavily contested jump shots or layups, or you would see shots becoming smothered when they had no business even being contested. 2K23 also made the jump shots have different timings every time you shot the ball to stop people from using Cronus Zens and cheating. But this didn't do anything besides make the shooting more complex than it needed to be. The different jump shot timings didn't even stop the Zen users. And for some reason, the fades on this game were even more broken. Like, how is a fadeaway 3 in the corner easier than shooting a standstill corner 3? See, if there's one thing that I don't like about the newer 2K games, is that they don't even focus on basketball. They will literally make you do mandatory quest lines on this game that don't have anything to do with the game of basketball before you can actually play basketball on your basketball game. Like, why do I have a quest line where I have to do skateboard tricks around the park? Am I playing Skate 3 or Tony Hawk Underground or some shit? Or how about the game forcing me to make rap songs with J. Cole? Like, what is this, bro? I'm playing a basketball game. I'm not playing GTA. I'm not playing The Sims. I'm not playing...
No, don't worry. I made a video on this. And if y'all got this far in this video, then make sure y'all check out the video I made about how GTA 6 is gonna ruin 2K, bro. They want to keep making this lifestyle game. Okay, bet. Cool. GTA 6 is coming out next year. Let's see how well that works for you guys. Let's see how well that works.
Gem Fire for New York. I'm playing NBA 2K, a basketball game. There's so many other issues with this game. Like, it costs you down there $100 to even upgrade your player for him to be competitive in the park. So not only are you guys making worse games, but you're asking for more money from us. To be honest with you guys, man, it's not really that much to say about the new 2Ks, because they all pretty much have the same issues with little to no changes. This game had so many more issues, like the badge system being so trash and very unnecessary, and the introduction of the dunk meter made slashing way more overpowered and broken than it already was. And this was the year that jump shots had height restrictions now, which was also dumb. The only good thing about 2K23 in my opinion was a new feature, My Eras, because it lets you play in different time eras with different announcers, players, and scorecards and announcers. So this added more depth into the My League and franchise mode of NBA 2K. 2K23 also brought back the Michael Jordan challenges, but 2K11's is better. You're not really missing out not playing 2K23's Jordan challenges. I'm just gonna be real with you. 2K24 was not worth the money that everyone spent on this game. NBA 2K24 is one of the most greedy games ever made. Instead of focusing on the gameplay and the actual sport of basketball, they would rather add stupid things like battle passes into the game. And the worst part about this is that you can buy all the tiers of the battle pass and it would cost you about $80. It also costs you about $100 to even have your player even be competitive in the park. I remember way back in the day when my career used to reward grinding and it forced you to really earn your overall. 2K in general is one of those games where $70 is not enough to have a good online experience. Now you need to spend at least $50 on VC for your My Player. And if you want to buy clothes and animations for your player, you might need $50 because the clothes on this game are hella expensive as well. They literally sell jerseys for $35,000 VC, which is $10 in real life. NBA 2K designs their game where it forces you to either spend hundreds of dollars on the game or play nothing but My Career for hundreds of hours to barely even get to a 70 overall. And the city is just full of nothing but ads for different sponsorships everywhere.
That's
and
all.
There's so many other issues with 2K24.
That's all the city's for, guys. It's not, has nothing to do with 2K. It's not about us. It's to make money off their community, off their fan base. That's it. That's all they care about. That's why the gameplay's been so terrible for years.
The gameplay is straight trash. The standing dunk meter was so broken on this game, and the paint defense on this game was horrible. If you combine the standing dunk meter spam with the Kobe jab step in the paint, it was literally impossible to stop. But the dunk meter in general was still hella inconsistent. Sometimes you would have a wide open dunk with a 99 driving dunk, and your green window would be super small. The green window for 2K24's dunk meter was just inconsistent altogether.
We have SIG 1, SIG 2. On SIG 1, I have 99 driving dunk and a 53 standing dunk. On SIG 2, I have a low driving dunk and a high standing dunk. So mind you, number 2 is the one with the high standing, number 1 is the one with the low standing. So let's start off with number 1 right here. And as you're gonna see, even though I have a 50 standing dunk and my driving dunk happens to be a 99, here is the meter size. It's purely based on your driving dunk attribute rating, which is terrible for the balance of the game. And I'm here to talk about how some people I've set up with this high standing dunk and low driving dunk combination are in trouble right now. Now, I will also, after showing you what this pitiful meter looks like, if off the fact that I have a 99 standing dunk, but I happen to have a low driving dunk, this is like terrible.
And the badge system on this game was stupid also, because who thought that it was a good idea for you to lose your badges if you didn't use them? This meant if you were like a big man, you would lose badges like Brick Wall and Dimer if you played the one-on-one court, because those are badges that you need teammates for. This made people online on 2K play selfishly because they didn't want to lose their badges, and honestly I can't blame them. This game also had terrible input delay. When this game first came out, it was almost impossible to practice your jump shots and even dribble how you wanted to. Bro, the delay was so bad you couldn't even have full control of your player. You guys have been making 2K for more than a decade. Why is this still an issue? And one thing that irritates me about this game, how are you guys gonna have the Kobe challenges, but not have Kobe's 81-point game on there? Or his last game of his entire career when he had 60 points against the Jazz? It's so obvious that 2K does not care about their game anymore. 2K25 is such a terrible game that I'm not even gonna give a crazy explanation. I made a list of everything that is wrong about this game, and I probably could come up with more things, bro, but the list is already long enough, so I'm just gonna give it to you right now, and I'll see you after the list. The VC prices are still a scam. Game is full of microtransactions. We have stupid battle pass rewards like fucking burritos. Why do we need that in the game? The daily wheel spin is trash. It's been trash for years now and they haven't changed it at all. This game has a terrible meta. It's full of just mid-range fadeaways and L2 cheese. That's literally 2K25. And if you get lucky, you might see a post scorer that spams drop steps all game. It took a million years for 2K to patch the dashboarding glitch in Proving Grounds where you keep your rank even though you take an L. You have this annoying ass, big ass, stupid ass city that nobody wants. And on top of that, it runs like straight garbage and it's poorly optimized. The parks for Rise and Elite are just goofy and ugly. It takes way too long to get in games because people still duck games in 2025 and the parks be having broken courts and it's laggy. Just bring back the old parks from 2K16, bro. That's all we're asking. They made the old parks from 2K15 a limited time event and they made Rivet City from 2K16 for my team. Why? What crack is 2K smoking? This gameplay takes no skill. It's full of RNG gameplay. This game will literally make you miss a 3 on purpose if you make too many. This game will literally make the green window on your third shot impossible. That is bullshit and should not be in a sports game. This game has so much clunky and borderline robotic gameplay. You rarely feel like you have full control over your player on this game. The lane steals are broken on this game. You will literally see some players steal passes like they're prime Jerry Rice on this game. Shot contest is straight garbage on this game. Paint defense is trash. Passing feels so slow and just loopy regardless of what pass stat you have. You miss so many wide open layups on this game. And I know somebody's gonna be like, well bro, it's cause you have real player percentage on. Nigga, it should not matter. It's a wide open layup. I should make it. The matchmaking on this game is terrible. The post hooks are trash and useless now because enough people were crying about it. Even though post hooks are one of the most unstoppable moves in real life if mastered. You have gravity ball in this game. This game is still full of cheaters, but you bitch ass niggas are too cheap to even buy a good anti-cheat bot. This game still has terrible servers full of error codes, by the way. The game is 150 gigabytes. This game makes patches and updates on things that are not even broken about the game, but they'll patch a VC method that's actually good and legit so badly to force the player to buy VC with real money. It caused VC to buy everything on this game like shoes and accessories, even though old 2Ks had free accessories. The lack of communication towards the 2K community. Obvious that 2K only cares about online game modes and forgets about the offline game modes. modes. The stamina is trash, even with Gatorade boosts. You'll literally get tired after doing 2 dribble moves. The height and rebound stats have no effect in rebound battles on this game. The lack of focus on the actual sport of basketball. The huge amount of input delay this game still has. The stupid ass Gatorade stamina workout requirements to get the gym rat badge.
Boss move. What you refuse to do. Refuse to lose.
Bro, that was horrible.
As you guys can tell, the NBA 2K franchise has been on a big decline, and it honestly makes me sad. I still remember those days of me being a little kid and getting out of school and hopping on 2K9 and wondering to myself, how will this game look in the future, and how will it improve and revolutionize the sport of basketball? When the PS4 console released in 2013, and 2K made 2K14 for the next-gen consoles, this game looked amazing when it came out, and had me and tons of other people excited for the future of 2K. But little did we all know that this game would start to die out and slowly get worse throughout the time. One of the biggest killers of modern 2K, if not the biggest, was the introduction of VC in 2K13, which was a huge red flag during the time that it happened. Ever since this moment, 2K has been very greedy and has been using pay-to-win methods on their player base. The pay-to-win upgrading system in my team and my career has become a thing ever since this happened in 2K13, and the average person doesn't have the time to play for 10 hours a day grinding VC. A lot of people have to go to work or school, so this forced them to either buy a VC to keep up or don't play online games at all. VC also led to 2K not caring about the game modes that didn't make money like Play Now Online in my league. Play Now Online has been broken for so many years that 2K just ignores, and my league has the same exact issue. My league in 2K25 is broken, and 2K doesn't give one fuck about it. I also feel like the 2K series has lost its soul in just the overall creative aspect of the game, if you get what I mean. This game used to be purely designed to have fun, and that's it. Even the old YouTubers that people used to watch back in the day barely even play the game anymore, and that's for the reason of the game being unenjoyable.
None of them play.
I still remember when 2K used to put actual effort in the blacktop mode. We used to have things like dunk contests, 3-point shootouts. We used to have a whole bunch of different courts on the PS2 version. Look at all these dope ass courts they had back in the day, man. You will never see 2K ever be this creative in a 2K game again, in a mode that had 0 microtransactions. We used to have little features that meant a lot during the time, like the 2K Insider for my career.
When I was young, I never wanted to leave the court until I got things exactly correct. My dream was to become a pro. My man Larry Bird once said that while looking back on his career. The guy was a role model for aspiring NBA athletes like yourself. I assume you're here because you're ready to see if you have what it takes to make it in the NBA. Lucky for you, I know what it takes, and I'm willing to help.
Another issue of 2K, but this really goes for the whole game market, is the lack of competition. Competition is a good thing for the consumers because these game companies are forced to make the best game that they can or their company will die. But the main reason why 2K can pull off this bullshit every year is because of the community. 2K has all these issues, but people will still buy the game every single year and expect them to change. That is the literal definition of insanity. And I understand that people love basketball and 2K is the only NBA game out, but still, by buying the game, you are directly supporting 2K's actions and methods. You are giving 2K approval by buying this weak ass game every year when they clearly don't put effort in anymore. As an overall community, this is the only way that we can make 2K change their game. But if you want me to be honest, the 2K cycle will never stop because people will never stop buying 2K. And this leads to 2K never changing their game because they only care about how much annual revenue they make from the game. But you know what? I'm done. I've already been up here for damn near an hour. So if you watch this all the way through, thank you, bro. Like, I really do appreciate you, seriously.
Shout out to you.
If you disagree or agree with anything that I said in this video, feel free to call me a dumbass in the comments and we can argue about it. I don't really care, bro. But thank you, man. I really do appreciate it if you took your time to watch this video. If you guys have any suggestions for a next video, you can let me know. I was honestly thinking of making a video on GTA 4, so if you're watching this, you could let me know how you feel about that. But enough of me rambling, bro. This video is over. I'll see y'all later, man. Peace. I love y'all.
Okay, y'all. So that was gonna do it for the video, man. I mean, pretty much address everything within the video, man. A lot of interesting facts. If y'all enjoyed this video, make sure y'all drop a like, comment, subscribe. Guys, the original link to the video is gonna be in the description. Go check him out. Go show him some love. He cooked up with this one, man. But yeah, that's the ending, the legacy and death of 2K, man. And 2K26 is going to be the last 2K that anybody cares about. So, catch y'all boys in the next one. Peace.
Gang, they cannot do it like him. Nobody shooting like him. Gang, nobody doing like him. That nigga hate everyone because he broke, and that's why nobody like him.